Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Joseph Parker, obviously we've been talking a lot in recent days and weeks about Hughie Fury and Joseph Parker's fight on September 23rd in Manchester. We've been musing around what the strategy is going to be, what Parker needs to do, and discussing this in length. A lot of us have been talking about it on YouTube and elsewhere in person, all over the place. So I was really excited to see some comments in the New Zealand Herald by Joseph Parker's trainer, Kevin Barry. So I'll just quote Kevin Barry here and then we'll break it down. I'll also throw in another largely unreported nugget from a little while ago, also from Barry. So in the article today by Patrick McKendry in the New Zealand Herald, so Barry is quoted as, "We will be going to Manchester to knock Hughie out. Simple as that. I don't want to be standing there waiting for the decision at the end of the 12th round, and neither does Joe. We're preparing to go there and fight our best fight ever." Further on, it carries on with the comment, "We're going really hard on this fight. We want to make an impression. We want to make a statement. I believe after this fight, people will be talking about the power of Joseph Parker again." So those were Kevin Barry's comments to the New Zealand Herald. Probably the worst kept secret, really. I mean, a lot of us have been talking about this for a number of weeks, that Parker needs to put on a show. He needs to go out there, cast aside that dreadful Razvan Kajanu performance where he might have won pretty much all the rounds, but he didn't look great in doing so. So this Hughie Fury fight is an opportunity for him to go in there, blast him out and make a statement. Because as we know, the better he looks in the ring, the more marketable he will be. The more options he will have, the bigger the bank, the bigger his paycheck. And the options will just be so much greater if he wins and wins well. So another nugget that I wanted to throw in here, just to keep this sort of part of the conversation going, because it's definitely tied in here. Some comments he made to another New Zealand publication about 10 days ago. "We're going to change things up a little bit for this fight. We're going to be a lot more aggressive. We'll go back to the Joseph Parker that was fighting 2 years ago." Now, this was something that I found while I was looking to do a little bit of research for a previous piece, and I thought, wow, I'm definitely going to weave that in somewhere in the next couple of days. So it just happens that I'm able to bring it up today. So I was really excited when I read that, because if you know Joseph Parker and you've been watching his fights, and I'm not just talking about from Carlos Takam onwards, I'm talking about pre-Takam. I'm talking about 2-3 years ago when he was having 4, 5, 6 fights a year. He was an excitement machine. You know what I'm talking about. You know that a Joseph Parker fight, that really got people interested. It got them excited. There's a reason people were buying his pay-per-views in New Zealand. He was someone that there was just a lot of buzz, a lot of hype, but he delivered in the ring. And what I mean by that, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen those fights, while some of the opponents, you knew that he was going to blow through them at some point, it was the anticipation of the knockout. And a lot of his knockouts weren't just one punch and down. It would be this build-up where he would be in control of the fight, then all of a sudden, bang, bang, he would hurt them. And you just knew at that point he was going to finish them. And in so doing that, it was going to be awesome. And Joseph Parker, he would unload those combinations and it would look amazing. And he would get them out of there. He would get them out of there. But as the competition level rose, we started to see that a little less. I think the last time we saw that was sort of pre-Takam. One or two of those fights before that, it sort of started to taper off a bit. But that Takam fight, as we know, he had to be cautious. There was a lot riding on that. He showed us some different things in that fight. He was boxing off the back foot. And then obviously Dimitrenko was next. Blasted through him. Dimitrenko subsequently was up for the Best Actor award for his writhing on the ground performance. Then Ruiz Slightly different game plan again from Takam, but a little bit similar. There was a lot of boxing off the back foot, but he followed a game plan. And Kevin Barry had him having a certain game plan for that fight, as with some of the other fights. But it wasn't to try go unloading on him. Because you might recall in that Takam fight, it was about the 7th or 8th round, and he rocked Takam. And then he started to wind up for the glorious finish that he was really well known for. But the problem was he didn't get him out of there. He didn't get him out of there. And as we know, after that, he was gassed. He was gassed. And Takam, for the rest of, I think it was that round and maybe part of the next, was sort of, dominating him for a bit. So that's the last time I remember him unloading like the way he used to. Obviously wasn't successful on that occasion. But I was really heartened to see Kevin Barry say, we're going to see Joseph Parker, who was fighting 2 years ago, that same style. Coupled with this strategy, which I think worst kept secret, we knew it was going to have to be that way. He's going to Hughie Fury's town, Manchester. So if you're in the ring in someone else's hometown and it's a close fight, you're probably not going to get the decision. And I had a classic comment in the comment section the other day. Someone said Joseph Parker could win all the rounds and Hughie Fury's arms would still be lifted. I mean, I had a good chuckle at that. But in terms of Joseph Parker, the strategy, I'm looking to see, can he execute this? And that's part of it. I mean, it's all well and good sort of saying, you're going to do this, but can you execute it? Clearly, heading into the Kajanu fight, and I'll give Parker a little bit of leeway here. It was late notice. Kajanu knew him from about 100 rounds or so of sparring previously. Kajanu would help prepare him for, I think it was Dimitrenko, and then what would have been the Fury fight. So Kajanu did have a good look at Parker, and he sort of knew some of his tricks. But it must be said, Parker didn't look great in that fight. Went headhunting, couldn't get him out of there. So it's all well and good saying we're going for the knockout. Whether you can actually get the knockout is a completely different story. As we know, Hughie Fury is a slippery operator. Technically, he's a pretty good boxer. Whether he can take Parker's power if Parker lands flush, well, that remains to be seen. Well, I would personally like to see Parker chop the tree down, something he should have done in the Kajanu fight. He should have been battering his body, really breaking him down. So we'll have to see. But encouraging nonetheless to sort of hear this positive and aggressive fighting style that we can expect to see on September the 23rd in Manchester. Okay, that's it from me. Hit like and subscribe. I'm out.